Hey, 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 hey. You are tuned in to episode 42 of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. This podcast is being brought to you by your one and only host. Of course, I am speaking of myself. You can call me Twinkle, call me SheIsTwinkle, or call me Antoinette. As long as you're calling my name, that's all that matters to me. Before I jump into the topics for today's episode, is it just me or is the time flying? I think that time seems like it's just speeding by because there's so much that's happening. There's so much going on, whether it's in our own personal lives or it's in the world, and we're just trying to keep up. Just because things are happening, we can't assume that they're all bad. I wanted to give a shout out to my daughter, Aria. She did recently get baptized, and that was a beautiful moment. Also, shout out to my husband. His birthday was on September 23rd. Shout out to them. Anywho, moving on, let's start off with a question of the day. Question of the day for today is, what was your favorite TV game show growing up? For those of you out there that are listening, this is going to depend on whatever age you are, because I've noticed a lot of these game shows on TV, they're going extinct. Family Feud is still out here, but Family Feud was not always hosted by Steve Harvey. There have been several other hosts of Family Feud, but there's Jeopardy, there was Wheel of Fortune, there was Weakest Link, there was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Speaking of that, that was my absolute favorite. That is my answer. I used to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire faithfully. I used to consider all the lifelines. I would pretend like it was me playing, and that's how I would know how much money I either would have lost or walked away with. Y'all let me know what y'all favorite game show was growing up on television, and I just wanted to have a little fun at the beginning of today's podcast. All right, now that we've gotten all the niceness out of the way, we gotta get into the nitty gritty. Do I want to talk about Diddy yet? Gosh, I cannot start the show with the shadow like that. Let me go ahead and start with Kendrick Lamar. It was recently announced that Kendrick Lamar will be the headlining performer for this upcoming Super Bowl in February of 2025. I personally was excited about it. I was not shocked at all. He is obviously the biggest artist out right now. With this beef between him and Drake, and then he had his Juneteenth show, Kendrick Lamar is a really big deal. Now, what I did not like was the rollout of his Super Bowl announcement. It was just very low quality, lackluster. Like, it didn't have a lot of thought put into it. But nevertheless, I'm excited that he is going to be the headlining performer. On the other hand, there was a lot of people on social media who are not so excited. Why? For some reason, because the Super Bowl is supposed to take place in New Orleans, Louisiana. A lot of people expected that headlining performer to be Lil Wayne. They thought that it would just automatically be given to him because he is from New Orleans. So I thought that was a little backwards for several reasons. Lil Wayne has not been relevant within the past 5 years. Maybe even 10 years. No knock to him, but that's just what it is. Kendrick Lamar is very relevant right now. Usher, when he performed last year, he was very relevant in Vegas for years. So when the Super Bowl was in Nevada, we're gonna choose Usher. Now, for some reason, people felt like Lil Wayne didn't need to earn it. He should have just gotten it because everybody knows that that's where he's from. However, I'm not sure where this notion comes from because as you all can remember, Prince had an amazing Super Bowl performance, especially when he performed Purple Rain and it started raining. It was a moment. It was a time. But that Super Bowl performance of Prince's, that was in 2007, and it occurred in Florida. Prince is not from Florida. Prince is from Minnesota. But it wasn't a given, oh, well, we got to wait until it's in Minnesota and then Prince can perform. See how it's not making sense? Now, Prince is one of those names, he didn't need a new album out. He's no different than a Michael Jackson. People were going to tune into the Super Bowl halftime show to see Prince or Michael Jackson. But something told me, look up to see when the last time the Super Bowl was in New Orleans, because I'm sure that this isn't the first time it's occurring. And what do you know? Beyonce performed the Super Bowl in 2013 in New Orleans, Louisiana. Nobody said anything. That was the exact same year that she brought out Destiny's Child with her. Kendrick Lamar is the biggest artist right now. Y'all are upset because he was chosen and not Lil Wayne. But when Beyonce was chosen over Lil Wayne in the same city and state, and she is from Texas, she's not from Louisiana, y'all didn't have an issue. So why are people complaining? A lot of people were saying maybe Jay-Z is hating on Lil Wayne for whatever reason. Maybe they have beef. Why would they say Jay-Z? Well, as you know, Jay-Z signed a deal with the NFL back in 2019 for his company, Roc Nation, to partner with the Super Bowl to enhance the live experience, specifically in the halftime shows, as well as to amplify the league's social justice efforts. From what I can remember, that was a $25 million deal for a 5-year plan. I don't know if that was effective as of the 2020 Super Bowl or if they are now coming up on that 5th year. I also don't know if that's been extended, but his influence has made a difference in the actual Super Bowl performers that we see. So I just wanted to refresh y'all memory on the performers within the past decade. Let's go back to 2012, who the Super Bowl performers were. In 2012, we had Madonna. 2013, Beyonce. 2014, Bruno Mars. 2015, we have Katy Perry. 2016, Coldplay. 2017, we have Lady Gaga. 2018, Justin Timberlake. 2019, Maroon 5. Now in 2019 is when Jay-Z signed on to be in partnership. So now at this point, Jay-Z moving forward should be able to make the decisions as to who performs at the halftime show. So 2020, we had Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. Y'all remember that year? I mean, I remember them being the performers, but I attempted to watch it and then I turned it off. It was very boring. In 2021, The Weeknd. Okay, some melanin. 2022. Y'all remember this year. This was Dr. Dre, but not only was it Dr. Dre, it was also Snoop Dogg. It was also Eminem. It was also Mary J. Blige. It was also Kendrick Lamar. It was also 50 Cent. It was a show. Everybody popped out of everywhere. 2023. Oh, wait, you got Rihanna to sing in the microphone? We haven't heard music from her in years, but her name is always relevant in the media. She had just had a baby, and what do you know? She comes out performing and reveals to us she is pregnant with her second child, quickly after the birth of her first child. But coming from the sky, Rihanna, Fenty Beauty, Rihanna. Yes, this Rihanna, who has been the most anticipated artist to put out an album in I don't know how many years now, but the one name only, Rihanna, in 2023. And then in 2024, we had Usher. And now 2025, Kendrick Lamar. Do you see all of that melanin in a row? What? Beforehand, it was scarce. It was here and there. And now y'all are complaining? Why? Whatever. There's much more important things going on in the world, but I'm excited about Kendrick Lamar. Beyond that, a few days after he announced that he would be headlining the Super Bowl, he put out a song called Watch the Party Die, which is very interesting because it was basically like a reflection of the entire music industry, people's opinions, other things that he knows about the industry, and just wrestling back and forth with if he wants to put his album out, the type of person he wants to be, how he wants to respond to such a corrupted industry. And then he name dropped some really good rappers that are Christian rappers, being Lecrae and D1. Because he name dropped them, they did come out with responses to his song Watch the Party Die, and their responses were really great responses. If you have a chance, you should listen to them in your own time. Now, when he says watch the party die, I cannot help but look at the entire music industry and look at this recent arrest of Diddy. Diddy threw huge, extravagant parties that the industry was so happy to be a part of and go to. But Are we watching the party die? Diddy was recently arrested in New York, and he is now in jail. He has so many charges, it is unreal. Once you actually look into how many lawsuits he has, there are lawsuits that he has that is not being spoke of. It's not as much public knowledge, but if you Google it, you can see all of them. Some of them, they don't even want their names attached to it. So there are Jane Doe lawsuits, there are Jane Doe the second lawsuits, Cassie, his ex-girlfriend, as well as the little rod guy. There's a new man. He is an inmate, and he sued Diddy for $100 million because of assault. He actually won that case recently because Diddy didn't show up to court, so he's supposed to start paying him back in the month of October, as well as Don Richard. Do y'all remember Diddy's group from making the band Danity Kane? I absolutely love Danity Kane. They were so good. But she's never said anything negative about Diddy. Even after the group dismantled, she did another group with him called Diddy Dirty Money. In all interviews, she would only speak highly of him. She spoke cautiously. She made sure she did not say anything negative. But now, all these other lawsuits have come out, and lo and behold, Don Richard comes out with her lawsuit. She didn't ruffle feathers, so if she's coming out and saying something, she's not bluffing. Also, remember, Homeland Security raided his homes. That was a lot of money. That was a lot of effort. The latest updates, he's tried to get out on bail twice. He even tried to sell his home to get out on bail. The judge in New York denied both appeals to get out on bail. He will be sitting in there, and he is going to do that time up until he goes to court. I'm just wondering how much of this is going to be publicized, because I have not seen a legal effort to not cancel, but literally demolish somebody. Like when you say watch the party die, Diddy, I have no idea how he's going to get out of any of this, especially because there's so many people that are filing lawsuits. Of course, those people, I assume, would be willing to speak if they were called to court, and they would not speak on his behalf, but against him. When I'm listening to the charges, it goes all the way from trafficking to drugs to obstruction of justice to intimidating people and abusing them, and the R word that I'm not gonna say because of YouTube, but he was taping these events, and it rhymes with tape, and then selling them to other people, drugging people, recording people against their will. I mean, there's crazy accusations out here, but it doesn't sound crazy because we've heard them throughout the years against Diddy, but now they're all rolling in. There's interview after interview after interview. If you get on YouTube, there are a list of names that are associated with Diddy, people that he hung really close with that were celebrity friends of his, and you wonder how much they were involved with his illegal efforts. So that takes me back to watch the party die. Is the party dying before our very eyes? When they have this court case, how much of this is going to be public? I was just a kid during the O.J. Simpson stuff. Now, of course, I've watched the depictions as they replayed them out on television, and that was great. But to be alive, watching it in real life had to be insane. Is this going to be the same thing for Diddy? They say when they raided his home, he had 250 cameras in his home. People were being recorded while they were in some compromising positions, perhaps. They didn't know they were being recorded, but obviously these tapes can be used against them as a form of blackmail. So that is allegedly the reason why Diddy had all of these cameras. Some people may not even know that they're on tape. And the unfortunate part is that a lot of those personal, intimate details could potentially come out in this court case. And whoa, I don't know. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to watch the party die? This is like way bigger than Bill Cosby. This is way bigger than R. Kelly. This is insane. But y'all already know what I always think about. I always think about the kids, because we're his kids in the midst of all this. And the specific kids I'm referring to are his minor daughters, his daughters that are 17 years old. I did do a quick search on Instagram, and I do see that they are currently staying with their mother's best friend, their deceased mother. She had a best friend, and she is taking care of them at the moment right now. A lot of us have our own stuff that we have to recover from, or just things that could happen in our personal life that can seem to turn our world upside down. But imagine those kids. That's probably 100 times worse than what we can even imagine. Imagine if your mom had passed away and then your dad is in jail and there's this long list of charges. The lawsuits just keep coming in left and right. But when you know your father was once so respected, so loved, he was getting awarded on television left and right. He was getting the keys to the city. You were there smiling and just happy, and that's my dad, and cheering him on, and y'all live in a mansion. Y'all can go on every type of vacation, and now he has a minimum of 15 years, but he could be facing up to life. That's just for one charge. The charges are stacked. Regardless of what Diddy has done, he is going to have his day in court. And more than anything, God is going to deal with him. I personally am going to pray for his daughters because, man, that has to be a lot. And you're a minor. That's just a lot. I hope that they are being comforted during this time, and therapy and prayer is going to work wonders in their life right now. Anywho, let's talk about this Kamala and Trump debate. This debate was one for the books. This debate was highly anticipated. This debate was a major test for Trump that he absolutely had to pass for any of those undecided voters out there. Why? Because we know that Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. She's not new to this. She's true to this. Debate is fun for her. Trump is not an actual politician, but he's had some experience in the White House now as the president. He's probably done some networking. He's probably rubbed elbows with some actual politicians. Maybe, just maybe, he picked up some new skills. Maybe he could be taking it serious. This debate was going to be the test of all tests for Donald Trump. Did he pass this test? The answer is no. Now, I have to be honest. I cannot be biased in this assessment. When it first began, he was doing decent. He was staying calm. He wasn't disrespectful. Now, he did not look at her a lot of the times when she was responding during the debate, but he was staying calm. He was not sounding outlandish to begin with. However, when Kamala pressed that red button,
I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man.
He will talk about windmills cause cancer.
You have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. The noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay? You know, the thing.
And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
when she talked about his crowd size, oh, it was over. It was over from there. Play the tape.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run.
Y'all heard that, right? But then it wasn't over yet. He takes it a step further. Run the tape.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food.
You talk about extreme.
Unbelievable. He really said that. Why did he say that? He said that because his VP running mate, JD Vance, had literally spoken about it earlier that day. I believe he may have tweeted about it as if it was real. As a result of that, people in Springfield, Ohio were literally under threats and attacks. Hospitals had to shut down early. Schools had to shut down early. All of the hate that was coming to that city because of the accusations, the false news, in his words, fake news, they literally made up a story and ran with it and put people's lives in danger. And I think that that is the most uncaring, inhumane thing you can do, to place a target on this city simply because you cannot hold it together in your debate. I'm not gonna lie, he is comical, but that was irresponsible. So at any point, if somebody ruffles your feathers and gets under your skin, you're just gonna start saying whatever, and it could really be to someone else's detriment. What are you doing? Even the officials in the state of Ohio were calling for him to stop. He would not stop. I know that debates are a back and forth. People are going to pick their winners at the end. If you're a diehard Trump follower, you're going to say that Trump won regardless. But you have to give credit where credit is due, and she did her job on that debate stage. That was not a good night for Trump. No wonder he is not accepting a second debate with Kamala Harris. He definitely shouldn't, because it could get way worse. November is around the corner. Go get informed for yourself. I know that as of lately, a lot of people were still saying, I don't know Kamala Harris. She sounded presidential on the debate, but I'm still kind of undecided. Well, since then, she has done a town hall meeting with Oprah where she was given more than, the 2 minutes that they're given in the debate to respond to questions. So that's a great way to be able to get some of those unanswered questions answered. Now, Trump has a bunch of his rallies that are out there as well, too. I don't specifically know of any recent sit downs he's done. I do know that Taylor Swift, right after the debate, she endorsed Kamala Harris. She listed her reasons why on Instagram, but she did urge voters to go out there and do their research on their own and pick their candidate based off of what they value. Trump didn't take that well. He came out and said, I hate Taylor Swift. And I was just like, man, why would you say that you hate any American citizen? Because if you became president, she is also a citizen of the United States. So you would be her president. Why are you saying that you hate people? The president is supposed to bring forth unity, not division, not hate. Oh my gosh. In the debate, he still would not say that he lost the last election. But I cannot spend forever on that. Like I said, watch the party die. He really let his party down the night of the debate. Some people from his party said that they were disappointed. They saw the moment he lost his marbles is when she strategically attacked his crowd sizes at his rallies, and he just could not pick it up from there. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts down below. As I wrap up that topic, I did have a question that came to my mind after watching the debate. The question is, are you affected by friends, family, acquaintances, or coworkers whose political views differ from yours? I don't know. I don't know that I would stop being friends with someone, but it would warrant a conversation. Some things I can agree to disagree, no problem. And I wouldn't even look at somebody as a bad person, a bad human being, if your political views are different than mine. That's like saying somebody with different religious views, I can't be friends with them. That's not necessarily true either. I wouldn't push my religious views on them, and don't push yours on me. We can respectfully coexist and still have good, meaningful conversation just to understand and respect the other person's point of view. Who knows? Y'all let me know y'all thoughts down below. Since we've talked about so much on this episode, to wrap up today's episode, I have 2 really good updates. The first one, Power. Power, Power, Power. Power Book 2, Ghost, with Tariq and Brayden. I'm going to put this in here. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you have not watched episode 9, spoiler alerts, fast forward this by 30 seconds. Now, y'all, can y'all believe Monet died? They really killed Monet. And I was not that shocked, but I was like, ugh. Like, I think that I wanted more. The way that she died, she did go out like Cleo on Set It Off, but I didn't know that she had that much love for her kids. I didn't feel that all throughout the series. Now, all of a sudden, I think that this was like a character arc for her because we saw her flashbacks all season 4. She realized, goodness, I've been like a horrible mother. Like, now they don't trust me. I've put them in bad positions. But really, I was just trying to survive out here. But maybe all their lives would be different. Maybe Zeke would still be alive if I hadn't put the family in this position. So now I want to redeem myself. And I am going to risk my own life for the sake of my children. And now they can know without a shadow of a doubt that I love them. If that was the idea, then I get it. Kudos to Monet. However, she has 3 living kids now. If her and Kane would have died, that would have been a tearjerker. Kane watched her die, which was a moment. But I don't know. I felt like episode 9 was really rushed. A lot of people were emotionally affected by it, but I felt like it was rushed. Episode 10, this is supposed to be the final episode. I'm expecting major things to happen. Maybe some people to come back from even the original Power. Who knows? I will keep y'all updated, but that was the huge character death in Power Book 2, episode 9 of the final season. If y'all are watching, make sure you stay tuned. And if I ruined it for you, I'm sorry. I said spoiler alert. Now, the second update that I'm super, super, super excited about, Love is Blind Season 7 is coming back October 2nd. Yes, it is right around the corner. I will, of course, be reviewing it on my YouTube. I will have a full in-depth review of several episodes at a time of Season 7. It is in Washington, D.C. I'm excited, y'all. So stay tuned for that. And now for the quote of the day to wrap up today's show. There is no author, but the quote is, make sure you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. Know your worth, even if they don't. Y'all, this has been another episode of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. Please be sure to follow me on Instagram at SheIsTwinkle1, as well as on YouTube at SheIsTwinkle. Like this video, share this video, subscribe, and until next time, I love you all. I cannot wait to come back with Love is Blind, and I'm out. Peace.